I have a job for you.
Jeez, it's not another arc, is it?
No, not again. This time I need a full-scale home renovation.
Noah Construction and Builders is your design and build partner. We do it all, from additions and dormers to full-scale renovations. Schedule your no-cost design consultation today. Visit us online at noahconstruction-builders.com.
Noah Construction and Builders. Through dreams we design, with vision we build.
Welcome to MuscleSport Media Live. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving on Thursday. Anthony is not here. He was in Green Bay to see his Miami Dolphins not look so good against the Pack at Lambeau Field. But we are here tonight, and my son Jimmy is here with me taking Anthony's seat. Why is that making such a creaky noise? Anthony is not here tonight, but Jimmy is, and of course Trevor is behind the glass. So welcome to MuscleSport Media Live, WGBB 95.9 FM, 1240 AM. Of course, thanks so much to our title sponsor, Noah Construction-Builders.com. No job too big nor small for the boys at Noah. Check out Pete and the guys at Noah Construction. Jimmy, tonight is a little bit, it's chill in the air. It's December. It's winter. Not officially. Still got another 3 weeks for that. But it is officially hot stove baseball season, right?
Yeah, especially with winter meetings coming up next week.
Winter meetings are coming up next week. And they are in Nashville again this year?
I believe Dallas.
Dallas? Okay, I know they have them in Nashville very often. Winter meetings, a lot of things happen. All the GMs and the agents go there, and they all try to make nice with each other. And obviously, there's some huge names. Soto is the one that is leading the pack, if you will. But to me, I always look at the second tier type of guys that get picked up, like the Mets picked up Frankie Montas. Low risk, high reward type of move, just like the moves they made last year with Sean Manaea and Severino, which worked out great for them. So Montas, all right, he's not a number one starter. He's a number 4 starter. He's a good depth guy. But these are the type of moves, because there's only so many of these hot, great big players. Corbin Burns is probably the best pitcher on the market, right? And obviously Juan Soto, the best position player on the market. So we'll touch base on them a little bit first, because it's the most obvious thing. I felt all along, the minute the Yankees got Juan Soto, that they were not going to allow him to walk, and I still feel that no matter what, they're going to make him an offer that is going to be close enough. It might not be the highest offer, but it'll be close enough where he feels, okay, I had a great year with them. I got Judge next to me. We made the World Series. We won the pennant. I want to come back to this team. The fans loved him there. He got great press in New York. He endeared himself great with the people in New York. I feel he goes back to the Yankees, even if Steve Cohen offers him more money. What do you feel about Mr. Soto?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's leaving the Yankees. I think, as much as Steve Cohen and the Mets want him, as much as the Boston Red Sox want him, Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
I don't think Hal Steinbrenner is going to let him go. Letting him go to one of your hated rivals like the Red Sox.
Or the Mets.
Or an intercity rival like the Mets would just be
even divisional with Toronto.
A tough blow and a really tough pill to swallow for them, and I don't think he's going to let it happen. He's gotten that reputation where, he's not like his father. He doesn't spend crazy money. But him and Cashman have shown when they want a guy, they're not going to let him go. When Garrett Cole was a free agent 5 years
Cole's
ago,
the example, yeah.
He was the guy that they needed to get. They got him. And Aaron Judge was a free agent. They didn't want to pay him as much as they ended up doing, but they were not going to let him go.
No. Giants flirted with him, probably brought the price tag up a little bit.
And as much as, other teams want Juan Soto, he's a 26-year-old future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I just don't
4.5
see
guy.
Steinbrenner not matching any offer he gets. If the Mets say, we'll give you $650, I don't think Steinbrenner is going to not do that.
Yeah.
And no matter the number, I think there's no offer. Unless Cohen just goes, or the Blue Jays maybe even, they spend a lot. spot go so ridiculous.
800.
Yeah, gets somewhere, they're not going to go. I think he ends up back with the Yankees.
Yeah, I think that's a better place for him. I think it's a great spot. He'll win a championship there with a long-term deal at least once. That's the Yankees is championship or bust. They don't even care about pennants. They want titles. To me, yeah, I think Soto goes back there. The top pitcher we mentioned, we were talking about this earlier today, Corbin Burns. Now, this is a little different than Juan Soto. He's obviously, his pitcher is different. You always worry about pitcher's lifespan, shelf life. He's older, pitchers.
He's not old, but he's not young.
Old? Yeah, but he's older than a Soto is. Soto's he came up as a kid with the Nats. What was he?
19.
19 years old when he won a title in 2018. So, so he's got a lot of years of experience and he's still just a kid. Corbin Burns has been a great pitcher his whole career. He was stud at the Brewers, right? And then has done very well with the O's. Corbin Burns looking for a long-term. What have you read and stuff? What is he looking at? What is he trying for?
Most free agent projections from the insiders and reporters have kind of locked him around 6-7 years, probably north of $200 million. Oof. You got to figure for a guy with his track record, that's what he's going to get. He's not old, so he's going to get long term. And this is a guy who a few years ago won a Cy Young. In the playoffs, he just threw 8 great innings versus the Royals, so he's going to cash out.
Yeah. I've told you when I was younger, in the 70s and the 80s, it used to be 3 years for pitchers, 5 years for position players, free agent deals. It's obviously a different world now. So when I hear pitchers with that many years, especially if they're on the wrong side of 30, it's like, it's tough for a team to make that type of commitment. Somebody's going to do it. What did Snell end up getting?
5 years, $180 million, I believe.
So 20-something a year, and he is
30-something a year.
30-something. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. And he's 34. How
31. I think.
31. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So he's younger than I thought.
31 or 32.
All right. So that's not going to look good at the end of that deal. Not even the Mets signed Pedro. It was the same thing.
But the Dodgers don't care.
They don't care. They're kind of like the way the Yankees are. They're going to spend money. They're going to always they always want the hot name. And they brought in Snell because they were a little weak in the rotation last year. I still don't know how they won the World Series with bullpen games in the World. I still can't wrap my head around that. But
they had a good bullpen, and when you've got Ohtani and Betts,
that's what I mean. The lineup was top to bottom was a killer lineup. So and that bullpen was good. So even in a bullpen game, you weren't stepping down. You were.
Even in a bullpen game, you're going against good pitchers.
Really good pitchers. So, but it's just still very weird how a team with that much of if they had Glass now healthy, that changes the whole aspect of the whole rotation, really. But they had so many injuries, and they were able to overcome that and beat an excellent team with the Yanks in the Fall Classic. So now you look at Corbin Burns. What do you think is going to be his? Now, I had said to you, the Orioles, if they don't make a strong push for Corbin Burns, that would set off red flags in my head as a GM of other teams saying, why aren't they going? They know this guy. They're spending money now. This isn't the Angelos Orioles. This is the new guy owning a team. They're a winning team. They've made the playoffs 2 years in a row. They need a guy like him back. If they let him go and don't replace him with somebody just as good, if not better, that would be a big, big thing in my head. What's going on with this guy? Have you been hearing and reading in the Twitterverse on Burns?
I've seen that the Giants are very interested in Burns after losing Snell.
Yeah.
The Orioles, I've heard, still want him back, from all the different things I've read. The Yankees, they said, have checked in on him, but he's probably a plan B if Soto walks, and they've got that money to spend. Yeah, there was reports that the Mets checked in on him, but then Joel Sherman, with the Post today, he's usually good,
Yeah.
said that he'd be surprised if the Mets signed
Made
him.
a big play on him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Blue Jays, they're always looking to throw money around.
Yeah.
So
Burns doesn't have. He has suitors.
he'll get paid. He'll get a lot of
Yeah,
money.
he's going to get his payday. Which, and he deserves it. Just because I feel that pitchers you shouldn't really pay them that much, just because of the injury factor. It's still the teams are gonna do that. All right, so now you take a big step down after Snell.
You got Max Fried still.
Max Fried from the Braves, so he's younger than those two
I think
guys.
he's 30. He's not too young. He's
He
29.
came up
or
late
30.
then, right?
Yeah, he came up a little later.
Okay, because that's what threw me off. He hasn't been around that many years with Atlanta. He's been successful. Had the injury last year.
But when he's healthy, he's among the best lefty starters in baseball.
Yeah, but hitting the market after an injury-plagued season is not the best. It is what it is, and you can't control that. Do you think that's going to do a show-me deal kind of thing, or you think he's young enough where they're and solid enough, he's recovered, and they're going to get?
He's proven enough to me that he'll get himself a 5-year probably contract.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he's going to have a lot of suitors. He'll have the Braves, I'm sure, would like to bring him
They
back.
don't like to spend a lot.
They don't
money,
like to
though.
spend,
They
but
replace guys.
if they could get him for the right number, they would probably keep him.
Hometown discount might help him. If not, he's probably not going to come back.
The Red Sox have been very heavily connected to him and Burns. Blue Jays, again, they're just always looking to spend money. They'll give it to whoever is willing to take it.
Yeah, it's a fantasy.
The Giants, kind of the same thing on the West Coast. They'll spend. The Dodgers, I figured, but now that they've signed Snell, that's probably not going to happen.
They're not going to put too big numbers.
No, especially because they're looking at Sasaki, the Japanese starter, and then maybe the Padres again. They're ever since Peter Sider, the owner, died last offseason, they haven't spent as crazy, but who knows? Maybe they.
Well, there was rumors even Snell might have ended up back with them right before he signed with LA. So. Padres are a spending team. They have a large checkbook as well. Besides those guys, who else is out there in the free agent market that you feel would be, somebody that? I mean, we can, since it's a New York show, we can talk about the local teams, the Mets and the Yankees. Who should they be looking at out there in free agency?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the big focus right now for them is Soto.
Yeah, but
They've
besides those guys, like other guys in the, maybe, like I said, in the second. To me, I always like the second tier better than the first tier.
The second tier is probably where you're going to see the Mets shop. I mean, part of the reason you hire a David Stearns as your GM is to find undervalued players who you don't have to give that $500 million, that $200 million to, and you get a regular player that's under the radar, but he performs. Last offseason, the Mets did it with Minaya and Severino. They were excellent for the Mets, and, they're cheap, and maybe they bring them back, maybe they let them go. Who knows? I think the Mets are looking at Walker Buehler, another potential rehab project.
It's a very good name to be looking at, in my opinion.
Yeah, a guy who's proven he could be an ace when he's healthy, but has dealt with injuries. And
would LA let him go, though?
I would assume LA's moving on from him right now. You look at their rotation on paper, they've got Yamamoto, Ohtani's going to be back in the rotation.
True.
Glasnow, they're hoping will be healthy. They pick up Snell. They're looking at Sasaki.
So they
want to bring Kershaw back.
Guys.
Their rotation looks pretty full.
Yeah.
So I'd assume Bueller is going to be gone from the Dodgers. I think the Mets and the Yankees both would be smart to take a flyer on him.
Yeah. They both need starters.
He'll probably want just a 1-year deal, maybe one with a player option. And, it'll be big money for short term, but there's not much risk in those short term deals.
Yeah. And if you get something, that's great. And if you don't, it's it's quick.
Eat the money and move on.
Yeah, it's painless. It's not that bad. You can swallow those ones. What about Pete Alonso? Obviously, he's the biggest Met free agent that's on the team that could considerably go elsewhere. I mean, I know that a lot of it has to do with Soto. The Mets get Soto, they let Alonso go. The Mets don't get Soto, they probably want Alonso back. Does Pete play the waiting game?
Yeah, he's definitely going to wait for Soto to sign because if Soto goes back to the Yankees, the Mets are definitely going to be more interested in keeping him.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. If he leaves the Yankees, maybe goes to the Mets, now the Yankees, they're going to need bats. They need a first baseman. Maybe they jump in on him.
Mm-hmm.
So Alonso's definitely kind of just stuck waiting for Soto to see what happens. I think the Mets would like to keep him, but only at the right number. You know, if some team out there is going to go crazy for him, I don't think they're bringing him back.
Yeah.
I mean, usually he's a first baseman on the wrong side of 30. Those contracts don't typically age well.
No.
You look at, you know, Chris Davis with the Orioles. This was a guy who hit 40, 50 home runs and then was the worst hitter in baseball.
Cliff, yeah.
So I think especially a GM like a Stearns, more of these analytical new age guys, are very weary of paying first baseman.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, Alonso, as much as the Mets fans love him, it might be the right move to let him walk.
Yeah, yeah. No, listen, I'm a big Pete Alonso guy. I think he's a great fit on the team. They need power. Besides, even if they bring him back, they still need to add more power, I think, to that team. But again, I agree. If he wants this 10-year kind of crazy deal,
I think he'll end up more like 5 to 6 year range. You know, I would think potentially because he didn't have the best season, maybe he even takes like a 3-year with an opt out or something.
Just to, but
yeah.
As you get older, you don't want to do those show me deals. You want to.
Yeah,
you want to walk
he wants
away
to cash out now. He wants to get his.
Yeah, he's got to put his chips all in. The average was down, the home runs were down, but he still showed flashes.
And in the playoffs, he
had a great playoff.
And we know guys get paid off of big playoff games. You know
exactly.
That swing in Milwaukee, his contract went up.
But it was great.
Well, yeah,
if you're a Met fan, you love it. Yeah.
The season, they went from would have been out in the wild card, blowing that series that they should have won. To, they made a run all the way to the championship series.
All the way to the championship series. I mean, it started with Lindor in Atlanta, and then Lindor again with the Grand Slam after. So it was just so many. It's a great story that Pete was a big part of. That you hate to see him, go. And if he went to the Yankees, I mean, Met fans would probably be tough pill to swallow, but I almost think it's a great fit for him over there. If he does end up with the Yankees.
Even though he's not a lefty, it's a more hitter-friendly ballpark than Citi Field. It's the Yankees. I mean, Alonso definitely seems like a guy who's a little bit tough on himself, and if he thinks Mets fans going to be hard on him, the Yankees fans are worse.
Yeah, but he obviously he can handle New York.
He can handle New York.
He's been good ever since.
But if a team that needs offense, like if people have talked about the Mariners. They want to pay him. Now, Seattle is a horrible ballpark for home run hitters.
Yeah.
But if you got your money already, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, he wants to succeed just for pride purposes, and everybody wants to win. I mean,
if Seattle says, here's the most money, you'd be stupid to turn it down.
Yeah, and they got a great young pitching. We spoke about them during the summer.
Seattle, they had the best rotation in baseball this year. Their offense let them down.
They just blew that huge lead to Houston, and it was definitely the pitching was there, but the offense wasn't. And bringing a guy like Pete, that's I never even thought about it. Great, job by you. Just throwing a name of a team out there, other than
not the first.
You're not the first. You can't take credit. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never. I mean, to me, I'm the same way. I hate the rumors. Soto's talking to this team, and this team is still. I'm like Howie Rose's Twitter. I don't want to hear about it. Just when the deal's done, talk about it.
Yeah, it drags on.
Yeah.
It's people who, these nobodies who claim, I know a guy who knows a guy.
Blogger.
Soto's going to go to the Red Sox. He's going to go to the Mets.
YouTuber. He knows. Yeah, you don't know who got.
The only ones who know where Soto's going are Soto, Boris, and maybe his family. That's it.
Yeah.
Even teams, I don't think at this point have any real idea where he's going.
I mean, even the Yankees are the front runner, I think, and should be, and I think he should give them the best chance to get him in there. When does, spring training, it's December 2nd today. Pitches and catches report in February. When does this get done?
Most of the reports have been that Soto will sign either right before or at the winter meetings. It seems like he's not going to drag on like we saw a few years ago. Remember Bryce Harper and Manny Machado dragged all the way into February before they signed.
Yeah.
They said Soto, his market is so strong, he's gonna
get top offers.
He's gonna get his top offer this week probably. They've said that he's gone through a couple rounds of bidding. Probably this week he'll, either this week or beginning of next week he'll sign.
And the courting has already started where they're showing him the city.
And they're meeting him and giving him a presentation.
Yeah.
Telling him how we're going to win around you, basically.
Yeah.
Listen, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to money.
Yeah, it always does.
If you've got the most money on the table, you'll probably get him. And like we said earlier, I think the Yankees are going to match any big money offer he gets.
Yeah. So if Soto goes to the Yankees, hopefully Pete maybe he doesn't go crazy with the years and the money, and he does resign because you got to figure he's happy there. I mean,
he likes being a Met. I'm sure he would love to be a Met for life. If he resigns, he's got a good chance to break their all-time home run record.
Yeah.
I'm sure that those are things that matter to him. But again, he changed agents last offseason to hire Scott Boras. He hired Boras to get you self-paid.
That's true. Yeah.
He's going for the money, even if he loves being a Met.
Yeah, and Boras's track record's been a little bumpy lately, where he's held out, and then those guys didn't sign
he's
until
had last offseason with Montgomery.
What was that? May? They couldn't play.
No, they signed in the spring training.
Okay.
You're thinking of a few years ago with Dallas Keuchel and Craig Kimbrell. When they were held out till May after their qualifying offer expired.
Yeah, and then they couldn't play with a team until that. But last year it was
Snell ended up turning it around and parlaying it into a nice deal, but Montgomery was a disaster.
Yeah, and you can't fault Boras on that.
And then Montgomery fired Boras, so he clearly wasn't happy with how he handled.
He wanted to sign earlier and get ready.
Boras probably was telling him, "We can get more. Don't worry. Don't worry."
Yeah.
It dragged on, and Montgomery came into the year a little out of shape.
Well, that's on Montgomery.
Yeah,
let Boras do the business.
He never had spring training, and it just never got put together.
Yeah,
maybe he's an interesting trade candidate, a buy low option. I mean,
with St. Louis,
with Arizona.
Arizona.
I mean, their owner came out and basically said it was my mistake, and said he was terrible. I mean, he pretty much was trying to get him to decline his player option, which wasn't going to happen.
No,
wasn't turning down $25 million coming off a 7 ERA.
No, he's not going to see that on the open market.
Maybe Arizona's willing to dump him for cheap. Maybe pay part of his salary. That could be a potential Mets or Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, when teams pay a guy's salary, part of it even, it's such a big. I mean, to me, that's got to be the worst thing in the world as a team owner to do.
To place for someone
to
else.
have a bust free agent, and now you're paying him to play elsewhere, especially when they cut him and they're paying the whole thing except for the minimum, the veteran minimum the other team is paying, which is nothing.
But
now.
Sometimes that move works out, like when the Mets dumped Scherzer and Verlander.
Yeah.
Paying them to play elsewhere worked out because you got nice prospects.
I love Acuna. I don't know what his role is going to be on this team this year, if he's even going to be part of the big league team.
He might be a potential trade asset.
Might be, but that's another thing. He showed that he can play at this level. I mean, listen, the small window, but he did show he belongs.
He showed he's a great defender, and he had pop in that bat. So.
And he just has a little swagger, which I like, a little confidence. Not over the top, not enough to get it, plunked. But he just is a fun young player that I think he's taken after Lindor, and that's a great role model.
He can either be a nice cheap player for you or maybe a trade piece. So.
Trade piece, if we see what happens with him. But definitely those two trades, the Mets had to eat a lot of that money, but they ended up getting higher level prospects, which we're going to hope.
If they didn't eat money, they would have got nothing for
They would have, they would have had to take, also ran kind of things. But I do like an opportunity if you get Jordan Montgomery at the right price.
Yeah, man, the Diamondbacks say he's making $25 million. We'll pay 10 of it, and you give up nothing. I mean, it's
how many years did they? What did he?
It's just one more year.
It's just this year.
Yeah.
I'd even go even higher than that if I had to. Only because that he's been around, he's won in many, not just the Texas years. I loved him on the Yankees. I thought he was great. He was good on St. Louis.
And he was huge in that playoff. I mean, I don't think the guy forgot how to pitch. I just think no spring training threw him off. Maybe he would. I mean, he looked out of shape. I mean,
he did.
He definitely, needed to be better. But maybe just a change of scenery would help him.
And Arizona underperformed all year long, not just Jordan Montgomery. I mean, as a team, they won the pennant the year before. Surprise! They were Cinderella.
They had those hot streaks, but they, ended up missing the playoffs. Off a pennant.
They made a nice little, fun at the end. They made a good run.
Almost knocked the Mets out.
Yeah, they almost did, and then they ended up on the outside looking into the postseason. But they've had a lot of guys that didn't perform as good, and if Arizona wants to trade Jordan Montgomery and eat a lot of that salary, if I was a Mets, if I'm the Stearns, I listen to that phone call.
With how this free agent market is, you might have to do something like that.
He's a lefty. He's won in this league before, so we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for listening to MuscleSport Media Live. Thank you for NoahConstruction-Builders.com, MuscleSportMag.com/store. $34 a year, free shipping in the United States. For Jimmy and the missing Anthony and Trevor, we will see you guys next week. Good job. Baseball.
Noah, I have a job for you.
Jeez, it's not another arc, is it?
No, not again. This time I need a full-scale home renovation.
Noah Construction and Builders is your design and build partner. We do it all, from additions and dormers to full-scale renovations. Schedule your no-cost design consultation today. Visit us online at noahconstruction-builders.com.
Noah Construction and Builders. Through dreams we design, with vision we build.